Good morning to all of you. And after the Vijayadashmi and Dasara festival, all of you are back to the class, and I welcome you all for this. And if my memory goes right, and if you can rebrush your memory, in the last class we are discussing about the biodiversity, and in the biodiversity, we have discussed about what is biodiversity, what are the three different levels of biodiversity, and we have also tried to understand the richness of this biodiversity. And in the end, if I have discussed with you the value of a tree. Now we will continue with this, and we will try to wind up today as far as this biodiversity is concerned. So this is now the question comes, why the biodiversity is very, very important to us, which all of you know in the last uh, class only I have told you. It's very important because biodiversity is very, very essential for the human survival. Without human being, all other organisms can survive, but without the other organisms, we human beings cannot survive because the very essence of life come to the human being comes from this biodiversity. So this biodiversity is everything for the human being or for us. Whatever the food that we eat, whatever the medicines that we get, or whatever the recreation, aesthetic, economic benefits that we derive, everything is from this biodiversity. Even for our economic development also, and in order to maintain a harmonious ecological balance also, we need the biodiversity. So that's why the biodiversity becomes very, very important. Uh, one cannot imagine the life without this biodiversity. Just imagine if in this world only human beings are there and no other organisms, what would have happened and how all of us would have felt. So that's why this biodiversity is very, very important to us. Now, let's try to have a glance about the biodiversity of India. In the last class, I have told you the India is a mega biodiversity country because of the richness of the genetic variation and the species and the ecosystem. Uh, India is considered as the one of the mega biodiversity country. Not only mega biodiversity country, we have totally four hottest hotspots of biodiversity. One is out of that, two are exclusively in India, and two more we are sharing with the other neighboring countries. So here, India is also the place or home for many of the endemic plants and animals. Endemic plants and animals are those which have a restricted range. They are found only in the selected locations and not found elsewhere. So those organisms are called as endemic plants. We have also know that there are many wild relatives of cultivated plants are found here, and that is the treasure of genetic resources for all of us. So that's why the India is considered as the mega biodiversity country. This slide will give you and just all these slides which I show you with respect to the to justify why India is a mega biodiversity country. These are only illustrative, not exhaustive. So this is the floral diversity of this India. India has about 47,000 plants, which includes 17,500 flowering plants. Um, then the diversity of the crop plants, even if you see, there are so many crop plants. There are there are 150 plant species which meet our human food demand. Our food mainly comes from 150 plant species, out of which 20 to 30 species are greater dependents like rice, wheat, sorghum, or some of the fruits and oil seeds. These are some of the on which we are the major dependents, but all of it altogether for a food, not for medicine, we use about 150 plant species, out of which but if you see the even the wild relatives of the crops, we have 51 millets um, 104 fruits, and vegetables and pulses 55, fiber crop 24. Almost all medicinal plants are wild crops only. See, this is another slide which is showing the diversity of sorghum, or what you call in Kannada jola. There are so many varieties and we are depending on this. This is the germplasm diversity of sorghum or one. In India, paddy production is about 1,135 million tons, not metric tons, it is million tons, and rice production is about 90 million tons. In India, we have something 50,000 varieties of rice. I have told you in Uttara Kannada only we have 1,800 varieties of rice. Then even aromatic, medicinal rice varieties, even the quality differ from one rice variety to another variety. Even the cooking quality also differs. So this is a small slide showing the variability in rice in India. See how many different types of rice we can see by size, shape, color, and uh, even there are some varieties which we hardly believe that it's a rice unless we are absolutely sure about that. So this is the rice diversity. Even if you take the sorghum or sakaram, that is the cane, sugar cane, see how many varieties of sugar canes that we have. There are about 2,126 varieties of sugar cane in India. These are small illustrative slide, not exhaustive. I have already made it clear. And there are totally 2,175. Uh, in that one species, that is the Saccharum officinaris, is the major one, 764, and another one is Saccharum spontaneum. It is there are around 800 plus species, plus varieties you can see. Even if you see the diversity of tuber plants, there are 32 varieties of sweet potato, 28,000 varieties of cassava, 11,500 species of yams and taro. Uh, so this is, see the cassava, different names, different this thing, sweet potatoes. Even the diversity of vegetables in India. Just imagine the vegetable that we eat and how many varieties of vegetables we eat. This is the diversity of brinjal. Probably all of you have seen many of them. This is again an illustrative. There are much more varieties, starting from very very small, tiny uh, this brinjal to the large sized brinjals of different size, shape, color, texture, and for you use it for different purposes also. Variability in brinjal. Not only in brinjal, even if you take the bitter gourd, which many of you may not love to eat, but the many love to eat also. Bitter gourd. This is the diversity of cucurbita family, pumpkins. Pumpkins. See different varieties. Ash gourd. Variety of melons. This is the season of melons. How many melons you can see? These are all from India. Diversity of bottle gourd, ridge gourd. See, this is how long, how tall ridge gourd is also available, and at the same time very small. So there's a diversity. In sponge gourd, in EV gourd, drumstick varieties, tomato diversity, varieties of tomato, chili, starting from the chili that you get in the market to some of the chilies which are grown in your homestead garden. The chili germplasm, see size difference from here to here, and uh, they change the taste and all everything. chow chow variety. Beans, of course, among the plants, beans are more diverse and there are more species. So naturally, their diversity is also much more than what we expect. Diversity of fruits in India. This is the mango variety. Of course, these are all commercial varieties I have shown you. But each mango tree is different from the other one, especially the wild mango. Citrus fruit diversity. There are 8 different types of citrus fruits in India. See, these are all self-explanatory. Banana varieties. See, in the world, uh, India is the one of the best major cultivators of this banana. Different types of banana varieties. In Andhra Pradesh, there are 5 varieties. Assam 7, Bihar 5, Gujarat 3, Karnataka has 7 varieties. Kerala 6, Maharashtra 5, Tamil Nadu 8, West Bengal and Orissa there are 6 varieties. Andhra Pradesh has the guava variety you see. Even there's a papaya if you see. So many varieties. Even if you take the sapota, each country, each state has their own varieties. And there are certain ones which are grown in only small pockets also. Jackfruit variety. This is very difficult to explain because you know that in jackfruit, each tree is different from the next one. See, these are some of the jackfruit varieties. Even if you talk about the diversity of spices in India, there are 50 different varieties of spices. Um, and India is the center of origin of black pepper and cardamom. India is known for black pepper and cardamom. Major producing country for many of the spices like ginger, turmeric, chilies, and tree spice. In India, about 2.5 million hectares under the spice cultivation, with an annual production of 2.8 million metric ton, and maximum exporter also. See, this is the different types of this is the cardamom, ginger, black pepper, and white pepper. Leading producer, consumer, exporter. This is a cardamom diversity. In Canada, what you call yelaki. Ginger, and this is the curcuma. There is the turmeric, haldi varieties. Even if you see the oil seeds in India, diversity of oil seed, there's the castor, groundnut, linseed, safflower, sesame, soybean, sunflower, rapeseed, mustard, groundnut varieties. Sunflower also has lot of varieties. Even coconut, which all of you know, there are 19 varieties of coconut in India. Coconut varieties, and especially the varieties highest in the coastal these things, where you have Andaman Nicobar, Goa, Kerala, Karnataka, medicinal plants and crops. Of course, this is the that contributes a lot to the diversity. So in India, we have 45,000 plant species. Out of that, 3,000 species are considered as medicinal plants, roughly about 20%. China has around 26 1092 plant species. But in Chinese medicine, they use maximum medicinal plants, even USA and all other things. In India, there are 8,000 species. They say that medicinal plants, though why I am telling here is this 3000 is only in Ayurveda text actually. But if you come to all other branches, there are about 8,000 species are used in different systems of medicine. In Ayurveda, we use around 1769. In folk medicine, we use 4671. Folk medicine means there is no literature. In each tribe, in each in each community or place, they have their own folk medicines. ಏನು ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ನಾಟಿ ವೈದ್ಯ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಅದು. ದೆನ್ ಹೋಮಿಯೋಪತಿ ವಿ ಯೂಸ್ 4082. ಇನ್ ಸಿದ್ಧ 1121. In Tibetan, we use 2079 species. In Unani, 751 species. But the major is from the folk medicine. Uh, See, these are some of the most common medicinal plants. Even if you see the plantation crops in India, then also the diversity is very, very high. Coconut plantation, as I have already told you, 19 varieties. In cashew, we have different varieties. In cocoa, we have different varieties. In cocoa pods, again the diversity is appreciable. Flowers, even in hibiscus only how many flowers you can see. These are the slides showing the floral varieties. If you come to the soil biodiversity, most of the time we ignore the biodiversity in the soil because mostly they are the microscopic organisms. It is said that in a fistful of soil there will be uh, millions of microorganisms in that. Soil biodiversity, especially the nematodes and mites, uh, they are the world beneath our feet, that is in the soil. But in soil biodiversity, 98% of the species are not unknown, not known. Protozoa, we have described species 1500. Nematodes, there are so many names. Over 3 billion nematodes are present in zero point 0.4 hectare. That means 1 acre of land, you can see more than 3 billion nematodes. Half a kg of soil in a cultivated fertile field contains 10 to 20 species. And all these species are found in the topsoil, upper 30 centimeter soil. Nematode soil, plant parasite 10%, marine 50%. See, there are 2 lakhs to 5 lakh species are estimated. They live in diverse habitats. Then Acariphora, they are also found in the soil. Of course, we need not go. Mites, see different types of feeding mites, plant feeding mites. This is only illustrative. Faunal diversity, animal diversity, if you see, we have 27 varieties of cattle, 22 varieties of goats, horse, poultry 18 varieties, sheep 40 varieties, buffalo 8 varieties. See, these are the sheep breeds of one state, that's the Tamil Nadu. Then dog breeds, they are different. Pigs, cow, Indian buffalo, there are 17 varieties of buffalo, starting from Nagpuri, Surti, Murrah, Mehsana. Diversity of poultry, duck diversity, Guinea fowls. This is the diversity of silkworms from different colors, shape of the cocoon, everything differs. Freshwater fishes, if you take, there are 953 species of freshwater fishes. In Uttarakhand only we have 98 species of freshwater fishes. freshwater and the sea ನೀರಿನ ಮೀನುಗಳು. These are some of the freshwater one. These are marine ornamental fishes which are used in aquarium. There are 300 exotic fishes in India. Totally, there are 2,546 species, including the marine fishes. Out of that are exclusively 73 cold water fishes, 544 they are the warm water freshwater fishes, then 143 brackish water, and 1,440 marine fishes we have identified till now. Insect diversity, even if you take the example of just butterflies and moths, very beautiful. There are Coleoptera, one group, 15,500 beetles, fruit flies, and all. In bees, honeybees, and all, wasps, ants, more than 10,000. Lepidoptera, moths, and butterflies, more than 15,000 species. They are all identified species. There may be much more than that. Insect diversity, there are percentage of 6.83% percentage species in India. Then if you go to oceans, this is the diversity of the marine invertebrates. Different types of sponges, 451 species of sponges, marine sponges. Coral reefs, beautiful coral reefs. Coral reefs are very, very important in the ocean because that is considered as the rainforest of the ocean. They contribute a lot to the ecological balance of the ocean. These are all coral reefs. India has 115 species of corals we have been identified. Soft corals, hard corals, crustaceans. See the different types of prawns, mollusca. The shell diversity, if you see, so many different types of shells, including oysters, conch shells, then octopus, sea slugs, squids and cuttlefishes, the marine shells of India. Again, there are much more. Echinoderms, if you see, starfishes, sea stars, sea dollars, sea cucumbers, marine diversity, different types, 2,546 species, sharks, rays, and guitar fishes. These are the whale shark. If you see the reptiles, there are total in India we have 456 species of reptiles, different types of snakes, lizards, turtles. We have 5 different types of turtles, 4 different types of crocodiles, and 26 different types of snakes. These are the turtles. This is olive ridley turtle. Marine turtles, 5 varieties. Birds, Indian subcontinent has 1,232 species. In Uttarakhand, we have more than 600 species of birds. And out of this, 176 species are endemic to Indian subcontinent. Mammals, we have 390 species of mammals. See, this is the mammalian diversity. Marine mammals, we have 26 species. All whales, seals, porpoises, dolphins, all of them comes under this whales, marine So that's why we call India is a mega biodiversity country. And when we hear India is a mega biodiversity country, we feel great. Okay, after watching all these beautiful slides, I will show you next one more slide. Then you tell me how you feel. Why I have shown this slide? It's an indication how we are doing with our biodiversity. What we are doing with the biodiversity. See, this is the rhinoceros where the horn has been chopped. These are the tigers where they are killed and skins have been removed. Tiger crisis. Coral reefs. We are seeing the bleaching of the coral reefs. Marine sponges. We are deteriorating it. Soft corals. Again, we are losing it. It is because of the human intervention with the biodiversity. 50% of the rainforests have been wiped out in the last 100 years. 70% of our wetlands are polluted. Uh, there are a lot of threats to biodiversity now. We know the importance, we know the use, and we know how the biodiversity is important. But what's happening? The major, there are so many threats, natural as well as man-made. Natural threats, sometimes there may be cyclones, earthquakes, natural bleaching, tsunami, they may affect where we don't have any control. And the damage caused by them are also minimum. But the major threats to the biodiversity comes from human induced, mostly for commercial exploitation. Because of the population explosion, poverty, and illiteracy, we are over exploitation, destructive practices. Suppose if we want to uh, take out the pepper in the wild, what we will do, we will not pluck the pepper pods, but instead of that, we cut the entire pepper plant and pull it down. Suppose if you go to a forest and you see the gooseberry, ನೆಲ್ಲಿಕಾಯಿ ಇದ್ರೆ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಿ? You don't pluck it, but you cut the branch. It is very evident in case of Uttarakhand, especially during the summer season for apemidi mangoes. How they are done? Nobody collects it but chop the branches. This is the illegal over exploitation, destructive practices. Lot of illegal mining, poaching for the skin, hide, horn, they are killed. Deforestation, we are so as a result, the wild organisms, both plants and animals, are losing their habitat. In the name of development, we have added lot of polluters to that. Habitat has been altered, their place of living has been altered. Irresponsible industries. Along with that, there will be climate change and ozone depletion is also taking place. Lot of invasive alien species. Some species from remote other parts of the world, they are coming and colonizing it and threatening the indigenous population and rising the sea level. Actually, we have lost two, three these things. For example, we have already lost two islands in the Sundarban area. Islands have been vanishing because of the sea rise. Coral bleaching, so beautiful corals, they are losing the um, zooxanthella, the microorganism which is found in that, and as a result, they will die. So they are the rainforests of the ocean. If they die, it will affect millions of different other species there. The threats are from everywhere. It is in industry, overfishing, population increase, and many times because of the oil pollution. You name anything, it is affecting the problem. Poaching, hunting for flesh, fur. illegal hunting for horns, nails, recreation. Many love to keep the skin of a tiger or nail of a tiger, and even some feel to wear the nail of a tiger and behave like a tigress. Forest fires sometimes because of careless cigarette smokers. Overexploitation of the resources are taking place. See how brutally the elephant is killed for the sake of tusk and bones. So natural calamities also add to sometimes high wind velocities, earthquakes, pollution of various kind, which releases toxic substances, soil erosion, plants are not getting enough nutrients, population pressure, agriculture is expanding at an alarming rate, cities are developing, spread urbanization, lot of industries are coming, construction of hydro projects, roads, railroads, dams, climate change, mining, and ultimately the lack of awareness. All of them are seriously affecting our biodiversity. The impact of loss of biodiversity is global warming and climate change, which all of you know. The earth is burning. Microbes has been altered. Nutrient recycling has been altered. As a result, if we lose the many species, we reduce the gene pool. It affects on evolution. Food chain is altered because all organisms are held in a food chain, one eating the other and other one being eaten by some other. Even change in the hydrological water cycle. So then what to do? We have to conserve them. We have to protect them. We have to manage them. How we will be able to do that? Traditionally, many temples and religion places, they used to protect them. In most of the villages, we have sacred forests where the human activities are not permitted. Even you cannot enter except the day of puja. So this is the traditional method. Modern, we have many protected animals and areas. No take zone where you cannot go and take, uh, like national parks, wildlife sanctuaries, and other things. So the people who are depending on them, we have to provide alternate employment sources to prevent the fishes from being overexploited. Fishing holidays, especially first 2 months of the monsoon, June to August, June and July months, fishing is not allowed. There are so many policies, acts. These are the protect. Many organisms are protected by law. You cannot hunt, you cannot collect, you cannot fish them. There are protected areas, either in the name of biosphere reserve or national parks or wildlife sanctuaries or gene bank. These are the marine protected area. Gulf of Kutch, Lakshadweep. There are so many. One which are shown in dark patches. Even we have heritage sites, Ramsar wetland sites, biosphere reserve, heritage world heritage sites. Certain forests are designated as heritage sites. Even Western Ghat is under the heritage site. Lot of dispute is going on. Ramsar sites. Some of the wetlands are designated as Ramsar site, where they are managed properly. Then certain areas are declared as biosphere reserve. All of us are coming under Nilagiri Biosphere Reserve. Then Plant Variety Protection Act, Geographic Indication, Patent Act, Biodiversity Act. Even there are a lot of national and international protocols and uh, regime on biodiversity. In that, one is CBD, Convention on Biological Diversity, is an important one, where India is also a signatory that came into existence in 1992 in Rio de Janeiro. The major regulatory changes we have done, Convention on Biological Diversity, or International Treaty on Plant Genetic Resources. So many laws are there where they propose and promote the sustainable use of the component of the biodiversity, protect them from overexploitation. Not only sustainable use, even the what you call the equitable sharing of the resources. There are so many protocols in biodiversity. Plant genetic resources for food and agriculture. It is our duty of every country to protect them from being overexploited or being extinct. Protect. Global plan action is there. Government, the global plan action has 20 priority areas under 4 groups. Then in situ and ex situ conservation. In situ within the permitted area like national parks and wildlife sanctuary. Ex situ in their own habitat. Then Biodiversity Act, biopiracy, because managing biodiversity is equally important. There are certain uh, biodiversity products which are exclusively to our country. We should protect them. You may be knowing there were international courts we have to fight for turmeric, basmati, and all. Patent Act is there. So now, unfortunately, we have misused our resources. And when for making money, we have misused our land and allowed our waste to pollute and destroy the air and water in the process of making money. Unless we change our lifestyle or accept the real prospect of extinction, that what we call doomsday or pralayam. If you do not care for the biodiversity, if we do not take care of the biodiversity, the days are not far off. So, uh, again, I would like to end with 2 notes. One is how much destruction is going on. Srimati Sharda Devi has told, you have come to this world to eat only the mangoes. Eat and go the mango. Do not destroy the trees. That should be our mantra in order to protect our biodiversity. But unfortunately, we are not happy by eating the mangoes, but we are more happy in destroying the trees. So that should not be there. Even another great scientist, Salim Ali, has told, plants and animals can live where human beings are not there, but human beings cannot live without animals and plants. So, what we are going to do for the future is very important, and our future depends on what we are going to do for this biodiversity. Even the vision for new millennium for biodiversity conservation was given by our late president, scientist Shri Abdul Kalam. So, at least we should take some action to protect the biodiversity by spreading the awareness with respect to the importance of this biodiversity. Otherwise, we are losing the biodiversity at a very faster rate. So, in the end, before winding up, I thank you all for watching this and hearing about the biodiversity, because this is one of the very important thing, not only from the examination point of view, even a layman should know the importance of this biodiversity. As I have already told you, entire our life depends on this biodiversity, and if we do not protect it, probably the doomsday is not far off. For all our problems, the main cause and reason is the biodiversity. The decline of biodiversity. I don't say you should not use biodiversity. We have to use it, but in a sustainable manner, and it should be equitable sharing. It is like if you have a capital, keep it in the bank, use its interest only, so that interest remains for your future.